Welcome to Golden Mastermind Seminars Radio with your host, Jeffrey Combs.
Good afternoon, Jeffrey Combs, 2 for Tuesday today on a very unique day in American political history. So those of you who voted, that is awesome. Congratulations. And pray for our country. Breathe, release, and let go. This is definitely a breathe, release, and let go day for me. Topic for today's Facebook Live on 2 for Tuesday, and that is Tuesday, November 5th. Jared, good to see you this afternoon. And my topic is prepare and execute. So I'll be covering that in depth here today. So if you're joining me, good to have you here. Wojo, good to see you. Good to see all of you here today on Facebook Live. So executing is the ability to follow through and produce. So there's a plan, and that's what many people do, is they plan, but then they fail to execute. So a main component in success is your ability to plan and execute. Now, I'm a master at this. I'm very, very skilled at the execution phase of business. That means the doing the results, being able to produce in a relaxed body. So I've been covering this for years, plan and execute. I mean, I've practically branded that term to plan and execute. Now, what many people do is they train and don't execute. They listen, they read, they go to events and rallies and conventions, but they don't have their AIC, ass in chair. Another term that I trademarked over 30 years ago. In my late 30s and early 40s, I was in a company. I was the king of posture. I was the number one income earner in a company, and I really branded that term posture back in the day in 1995, 6, 7, and 8. And it was a term, and I was doing sales trainings for a large direct sales company, and I was teaching them the one call close, the two call close, the plan and the execute. And so plan and execute is also repetition and experience. So it's the reflex of the same situation over and over in a relaxed body. However, if you're in anxiety, fear, or doubt, and then if you're broke thoughts, so if you're attempting to communicate, connect with people in broke thoughts, poverty consciousness, and or lack, well, you're going to have to be challenged. I also want to recognize all the exceptional people who are here this afternoon. Tom Zalewski, I was his coach many years ago. Aaron, I'm your coach now. Wojo is your coach for years. Diane Hunt just rehired me. I've been Diane's coach since 2014. And if there's anyone else on here, thank you for being here this afternoon. I saw Jared. So the topic is planning and executing. What many people do is they plan, but they don't execute. And the execution phase is the relaxed energy. The relaxed energy where you become skilled at whatever the outcome you're seeking, you're able to follow through on it. So I'm just going to use prospecting, selling, and lead generation, and then team building, and customers and clients this afternoon for any business that's applicable. So if you own a business and you don't have a plan, then you're going to wing it. And if you wing it, then you're going to be all over the map. You know, I've coached some talented wingers, and a talented winger is usually worth about $10,000 a month. That's the law of the lid of a winger. Because a winger has deep anxiety, and an avoider has deep anxiety about the execution. So the lower self-ego, the self-talk of the ego says, I'm not sure if I can be responsible back-to-back days to build a business. So this creates fear of success, and it's not fear of failure, it's anxiety about responsibility. Just take success out of the package. It's the anxiety about the responsibility. So if you're selling insurance, real estate, network marketing, direct sales, you're a coach, an influencer, an affluencer, and your business requires customers, customer service, it requires follow through, follow up. That's the execution, and this is what most people avoid. What most people want is the instant gratification. They want the shiny object. They want it me too, right here, right now. But even that, many people have deep anxiety about this. So in step 1 of any 12-step program, and I will have 37 years of sobriety on December 18th on any 12-step program. And the fundamental foundation of Alcoholics Anonymous is, number one, is surrender. So if this is you and you're living in this overwhelmed state of anxiety about results, anxiety about success, anxiety about production, anxiety about the responsibility of it, that you can feel that feeling. That's what you do. And that feeling is overwhelm. And so that feeling of overwhelm is a byproduct of the trauma that you experienced as a child. When you grow up in unpredictability, that's what the body lives in. And so the ego goes into this overwhelmed state of unpredictability about how am I going to handle success? Well, how are you handling being average? I mean, what is that about? I mean, how is being frustrated, disappointed? How is being enforced? How is avoiding your own success? How is lack of intimacy? How is all that for you right now? So, I mean, that's what you look at because that's what you're in. That's an anxiety, fear, and specifically doubt. So I'm going to isolate doubt for you today because that's what fear of success is. It's a doubt about, can I control it? Can I manage it? Can I actually be responsible enough to build a business? Can I be a millionaire? Of course you could. You could be and create all of that. But there's two situations. Do you have the courage? That's number one. And do you have the discipline? And if you don't have the discipline, then and you don't have the courage to create the discipline, then you'll keep winging it. I have coached hundreds and thousands of moms with children. I mean, hundreds and thousands. I've coached husbands and wives with children, but I'm not a women's coach, but however you want to break it down, over 70% of the 10,000 plus clients I have coached have been women. I did a Zoom call for one of them last night. She's about to have a multiple six-figure bonus check in her direct sales company. Not 6 figures in a year, a multiple six-figure bonus check, and she's going to rank advance 9 times in that pay plan. So, I mean, now I've known this woman since 2010. I started coaching her in 2014. I watched her cross the bridge. 2018, her company had some shifts. She ended up finding herself somewhere else. And then this is where she is now. But this could be any one of you in any given day in direct sales, network marketing, insurance, real estate, your own business. And so even if companies shift, that doesn't mean you have to shift because you can still be solid in that whole situation. You can be the man, the woman. You can be because it's not about a company, it's about you, and it's about you being responsible. You are your own company. You are your own sovereign entrepreneur. You're your own sovereign business owner. You're the person that's responsible for your outcome, for your results, but that is going to require discipline. That's going to require character building moments that you're able to address, breathe, release, and let go of while being in a relaxed body. Now, if you're a sales professional and you worry about the outcome frequently, which is what many people do, then it's going to hinder your ability to be your best self. And this is what you let go of. David Morrison just joined me here today from Sydney, Australia. David is a top-tier sales professional. Maria, thank you for joining me. I saw Heather, I see Ricky, and I saw Debbie Fair. Debbie Fair is a long time client going back to 2002. So my topic for today's Facebook Live is plan and execute. Now, what many people do is they have no plan and they wing executing. Now, once again, you can be so talented that you can wing it to about 5 or 10,000 a month in a business. Now, let's go. I'm going to go over some of the phobias and anxieties that many people have when it comes to anxiety about being successful. What many people have anxiety about is giving up their present life, giving up, and they'll use their kids as an excuse, their animals as an excuse, they'll use their church as an excuse, they'll use whatever outcome they can to create an excuse about what they're going to give up. Because the ego, the lower self, wants to hold on to the familiar. And the ego, the lower self, has challenges letting go because the ego is afraid of change. And so the unfamiliar is why many people will avoid and stay in the familiar to avoid letting go. Because with letting go, there is a responsibility. Now, I was a chronic addict myself. I was a dabbler of cocaine and heroin and barbiturates and marijuana but I was a full-blown addict, alcoholic with alcohol. It was my romance, it was my mistress, it was my drug of choice. I was absolutely a chronic addict. I drank myself to death, and at age 31, 11 months and 17 days, and became clean and sober on that rock bottom moment. Now, that is not how you build a business. You don't have to hit rock bottom. You don't have to go bankrupt 4 or 5 times. Your company doesn't have to go out of business, or you don't have to experience absolute trauma or stress. But it is important that you start to have a plan and you execute it. And you have to be willing to give up whatever story you're holding on to, because that's what it is. It is a story that you're holding on to. And the main story that most people, when broken down at the very bottom of the glass, when I chip all the way down to that bottom of the glass, what I will find is that they're not good enough. That's the story that keeps people from planning and executing. Because on a very unconscious level, the body holds on to repressed feelings. So the repressed feelings are the ones that are buried alive. Now, these come from the hippocampus, which is here. That's short and long-term memory. The amygdala is right here. That's a pea-sized gland that searches for familiar feeling. It's also referred to as the reticular activating system. And when you hold on to these same situations that you continue to recreate over and over, then you continue to be the mind-body connection to the events that shape your feelings. Now, the letting go process is the separation from those feelings and events. And this is how you address an addiction. So most of the planet is addicted to a series of feelings, and which then manifests itself in other addictions. But it's the feelings, so the feelings that are buried alive never die. And so this is very deep. And so when I coach a client, it's not just a one and done situation. It's not a few coaching sessions. It's predominantly a few years. Now, I'm an expert at assisting people to understand mind-body connections, how events shape feelings, the separation between a feeling and event. And then I've also built 2 7-figure businesses in the last 30 years. And so I'm very skilled at assisting people to understand what is required to be able to separate your feelings from the events that shape them. So the story you hold on to, and then the fight or flight. Now, the body creates fight or flight. It goes into an automatic reflex called fight or flight. And in fight or flight, the body is in a paralyzed state. And this is why people procrastinate and avoid. And they hold their breath almost all day long due to sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, multiple traumas, and then the hippocampus, the amygdala, and the prefrontal cortex, 2 shrink, 1 enlarge. Now you have brain fog. And then that brain fog is driven by what's called a panic pattern, fight or flight. This is what affects salespeople. This is what keeps people average at sales rather than sales professionals. It keeps coaches not having the ability to attract clients and customers. It inhibits people from being able to attract a producer while going after a customer, because this is what many people, they will settle, and they will settle for what they feel they deserve. If you don't feel you deserve it, then you'll live in a mixed message and sabotage yourself over and over to fulfill the neurochemical craving that keeps you emotionally addicted to a set of feelings. Your relationships will be highly dysfunctional. You'll attract narcissists, you'll attract perpetrators, violators, either as customers or as teammates, soulmates, to fulfill your feelings. And then that ego will muscle itself up and then overcome it. And that's what many people do, is they have flashes of brilliance. And this is what many business people do, is they'll have this cardio cocktail, this high, and they'll take it to the wall, or they'll put themselves back against the wall, and they'll come out of the box, and they'll go all the way to the top, and they'll create some Herculean effort, pull it off, and then go back into their cave, because they said, "Oh my God!" Well, see, you can't build a business like that. You can't do it from back against the wall, because you become exhausted doing that. When you wait to the last minute to pull it off, you've exerted your emotional, etheric, spiritual energy, and now you're living on the cardio cocktail of adrenaline, cortisol, which is the concoction of heroin, methamphetamine, heroin, cocaine. That's the high, and that's why you burn out on that. So when you're at the end of the month, you absolutely pull it off, and you rank advance, or you do this or that, or you close the deal in the end of the month, because you got so much adrenaline, so much juice, where you're exhausted for the first week. A producer produces production and results. A producer produces 5, 6, 7 days a week because a producer is a producer. And producers don't get tired. So I'm 68, almost 68 years old. I can devote 13, 14, 15 hours a day, and I'm never exhausted. I operate on 3, 4, 5 hours sleep daily for years, and I'm not burned out. My adrenals aren't shot. I don't listen to anything that's conventional medicine. I'm my own quantum healer. I'm naturopathic, holistic, and I practice prayer, meditation, affirmation, breathing, releasing and letting go, and healing thyself by surrendering to God. And if you're not in this space, in a relaxed energy, you'll be either in this intense energy or this victim energy, and then you'll live the cardio cocktail, the duality, all or nothing, black and white, right or wrong, good and bad. And then you will, so you'll have 1 good week and 3 average weeks, 3 good days, and then 5 days that suck. So you'll be, because your emotional state's inconsistent, you will be inconsistent in your business ventures. So that's the value of separating your feelings from the events that shape them. When you are no longer the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings, you are letting go. So it's that breathe, release, and let go. And your focus has to be right here, right here. Your focus is here. It's not on a phone that's ringing. It's not on distractions over there. It's right here. So it's not a laser focus. See, that's too intense. It's a relaxed focus in a relaxed body. So when I write affirmations, I write breathe, release, and let go in a relaxed body. The relaxed body neutralizes fight or flight. Fight or flight is what takes you into a panic pattern. Panic patterns take you into procrastination and avoidance. And so many people say, I'm the world's worst procrastinator. Well, congratulations, Chief. What do you want? A bone or mouth to chew it with? Or what do you want? A medal or a chest to pin it on? I mean, is that what you want to edify? Are you kidding? You want to be in recovery of procrastination. When you edify your problem and think it's funny, the only joke is the joke's on you. And that means that becomes your identity. Your self-talk is a huge component of what you attract to your reality. So when you're talking about, I don't have a system, I don't have a plan. Well, of course, you don't have a plan or a system because you have deep anxiety about being structured. In my book, The Procrastination Cure, I cover this as one of the 6 procrastinator types. It's called the rebellious rebeller. A large percent of the population, when given the opportunity to be a multimillionaire, successful in their own business, be in free enterprise from the comfort of their home, they sabotage their own success, rebelling against it. Now, they'll say, well, I can't work a job. I'm psychologically unemployable. Well, that's cool. That's awesome. I'm not employable. I've never had jobs. I never lasted more than 1 year in a commission sales job. I just wasn't cut out for it. I mean, I could wait tables, but I could never really be an employee. I was psychologically unemployable. But if I believe that, then I also have to believe that I can employ myself and be the number 1 employee of my own corporation, an California S corporation, where I'm sole proprietor and that I am responsible for my own payroll and my quarterly taxes. So if I'm going to be a business owner, then I have to have the discipline. I watch business owners who aren't even business owners, they're hobbyists. They don't have a corporation, they don't have a payroll, they don't pay quarterly taxes, they don't have an accountant they talk to, they don't have a tax attorney, because they don't really have a business. What they have is a wish and a hobby, a wing and a prayer. If you want to be a 7-figure income earner, then it's important that you have a 7-figure habit followed by a 7-figure mindset. And so in today's society, I live in California. Yes, that's a whole nother story. I mean, I'll explain that someday. But I live in California where I'm in a 44 to 46% tax bracket. And there's many of you that are in the same tax bracket. 38% plus 9, you do the math. 37 plus 8, you do the math. That's the tax bracket we're in today's world. So that means you better be able to create commerce, traffic, customers and clients on command, and it won't be by sitting on your ass. It'll be by having your ass in a chair, producing results in a relaxed body, and that requires discipline. I'm in my home that I have owned for 24, going on 25 years. I'm in my office at my desk. I'm on an Art Deco desk that I've owned since 1998, and I've produced multiple millions of dollars at this desk in my house, looking out at the window, the street right there in Central California. I've been in this house, and this is my office. I don't get stir crazy. I don't get the spilkas. I don't get overwhelmed. And I don't resent my business, and I don't avoid my business. I mean, my business is my livelihood. It pays for my life, my overhead, my employee. It pays for my assets. It pays for my taxes. It pays for my joy. It pays for my pleasure. And most importantly, it comes from the love and the joy of owning the business. But if you don't have that love and joy of business ownership, of entrepreneurship, if you don't have that love and joy of people, that love of life, the love of God, then you'll just make up stories and procrastinate and get ready and resent your business. I see people that they quit their job, start a business, then they sabotage their business so they can go back to their job, so they can fulfill their disappointment and their frustration and understand and continue to create the payoff. When the pleasure is not worth the pain, you will let go. But until then, you will continue to recreate the same situation to fulfill the neurochemical craving that keeps you emotionally addicted to a set of feelings. If you're watching my content today, the topic is plan and execute. So a plan means that you have a structured daily method of operation, that you operate your life and your business from the comfort of your home on your terms and your time frame, that you're not forced into this. This is solely your idea. And you stop rebelling against this plan. I have a grocery list on my butcher block in my kitchen. My assistant comes in on a Saturday, picks it up, and goes to the store, and he buys an exact amount of groceries every single week. And there's a stack of white typing paper underneath it with a blue Sharpie and a black cross pen and a whiteout strip that you roll on it. And it's been there for years, multiple years. That's my system to purchase groceries. In my grocery shopping, I have a set amount of groceries on there, and he has a structured time to start to finish. He is to be back in 1 hour and 15 minutes. I live relatively close to the grocery store I start. See, many people go, well, that's rigid. That's neurotic. And no, it's called a system. And most people rebel against having a system, then they will actually point out to other people, you're ADD, you're ADHD, you're a perfectionist, you're neurotic. And people like me go, no, I own a business and my time is valuable. I devote my time to production, to results, to my clients, customers, service, value. And then in my free time, I devote it to peace, love, joy, God, relaxation. And my relaxed time is structured. I don't wing it. I can't afford to. Time is valuable. When time is valuable, it's a commodity. If time isn't valuable, it's a liability. So you're either going to have liabilities in life or you're going to have assets. And if you want to be wealthy in today's world, it's going to come from assets and then understanding the insurance world, understanding money, understanding the banking world, understanding where you can put your money in unsafe times. It's going to how you can continue to create money in the most challenging time in world history. Groceries, interest, taxes. I mean, you're going to be looking down the gun barrel. Whoever wins this election is going to be very unique in what happens to our economy in the next 4 years. And it's going to be important that you understand what it's going to require of you to be able to thrive, prosper, and be and stay in a relaxed body in these next 4 years. It's very unique times in America, very unique times in the world, and there's never been a time to be your best self and be the entrepreneur that you are capable of. My name is Jeffery Combs. I'm the president and founder of Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. I see a lot of new people here today. I don't know where you came from, but I want to thank you for being here. If you're not my Facebook friend, please go to Facebook and request my friend, request me as a friend. Do the friend request rather than the follow. It gives you more content, and you'll be able to access my feed much more frequently. If you have ever considered coaching and would like to speak to me, I offer free 20-minute coaching sessions. If you've considered hiring a coach, you can do that directly by sending me a message on Facebook. Thank you very much, everyone. Breathe, release, and let go. And if you can, hit the like button if you like the content. I would appreciate it. Have a great afternoon.